Hello, Dr. Edward. It's so nice to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
Great, and it's a real honor for me to be with you and to share um, our experiences with life, and for me to share my passion with my mission work.
Awesome. Awesome. That's a beautiful one. And thank you so very much for being here, Dr. Edward. You see, I truly appreciate you. And you see, Doctor, oftentimes I love to thank my guest for two things. And I do that so much to the point where it has become my anthem. So, firstly, I want to say thank you so very much, Dr. Edward, for investing in yourself. You see, you are on this platform right now because you did invest it in yourself. And oftentimes, Dr. Edward, I love to make reference to the amazing mango tree. I say some couple of months back, I was on a particular road, and just by the roadside, Dr. Edward, there was this very tall, unattractive mango tree. And I used the word unattractive because the mango tree's got no mangoes on it and the leaves were all dry. So I just walked past it and I went my way. But you see, Dr. Edward, just recently I was on that same road. And this time around, hmm, a lot's changed about the mango tree, you see. The mango tree caught my attention pretty good from a distance. And immediately I got the urge to move so close to it, of which I did, and it wowed me. Because now the mango tree's got a lot of mangoes on it, beautiful green leaves and healthy branches. And not just mangoes now, Dr. Edward, I'm talking about ripe mangoes. It was such a beautiful experience that day, and I was so, so excited. Here is my point. The fact that you dedicated your time, energy, and resources to becoming the amazing Dr. Edward that you are today, that alone has made it impossible for me to skip you. And that's why you got the request from me to be on the show because I was attracted to the fruit of all that you're doing, your philosophies, your journey, the impact your work is having, and now you're offering your solutions, Doctor. These stuffs are beautiful. And just before I sent you that request, Dr. Edward, I said to myself, I've got to benefit from these beautiful things Dr. Edward is doing. And not only me now, because I don't want to be selfish, and even with the audience. And here we are today with the amazing Dr. Edward. So thank you so very much for doing that to yourself. And secondly, thank you for saying yes to the invite. Because if you had said nope, there was nothing Elisha could do about it. Thanks so much, Doctor.
Well, thank you. But I like your
Beautiful.
story about the mango tree.
Thank you so
I think we
much.
all, I think we all have the ability to bear wonderful fruit,
Mm, that's so
and it
true.
may not occur overnight. It may take many months or years of watering and sunshine and cultivation, and then
Cultivation.
we all have the potential to bear wonderful fruit.
That's so true, Doctor. And you see, I am quite excited to have you on the show today for some reasons. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking. I believe in order for one to transition from a terrible situation to that of a beautiful one, Doctor, I believe it takes the application of knowledge, quality information, and not just knowledge now, but the application of it. And you see, Dr. Edward, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge, and darkness is ignorance. I've been so keen to knowledge seeking. Why? Because I do not want to remain in the dark. So that's going to make our conversation today very important to me and even to the listeners. And the second reason why I'm excited to have the incredible Dr. Edward on the show is for the sake of the audience. You see, Doctor, we live in an age where information is as abundant as grains of sand. We've got lots of information flying out there. So these folks trust me for quality, eye-opening, and very important information, of which I am totally convinced, Doctor, that our conversation is going to be insightful and impactful. So for that reason, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about your personal or your professional journey. Then afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Doctor, over to you.
Well, I started out as a ophthalmologist and eye surgeon, and my mind was very limited. I thought that any eye disease could be treated with surgery. I really felt that. And then I had some major health issues where I developed asthma, almost died twice. And I think the Lord was trying to guide me in a different direction. Then at that time, I discovered homeopathy. And it was one homeopathic remedy that cured me of my asthma. Not only did it cure me of my asthma, but at that same time, I may have had a spiritual awakening. I began to look at outside the box, that I wasn't really treating the eye. I was treating the person with an eye problem. And many times when you understand the person, their troubles, their stresses, you learn that that's the root cause of their eye problem. So sometimes it's not treating the eye, it's understanding the person. So it opened up a whole new world for me, not just treating the eye or disease, but treating the person. Then I became, by chance, I was doing a trip to Vietnam with my wife. My wife is Vietnamese. We were with an organization called Vets with a Mission. We would take Vietnam vets back to Vietnam for them to heal their traumatic wounds that they suffered while they were in battle in Vietnam. And at that time, we visited some orphanages, and I saw the medical community there, and I understood that these doctors had equipment, they had the knowledge, but they just needed some guidance. So that began my mission work. I felt that, with my knowledge and skills, I would love to go to different countries to help the doctors. Then that kind of led me to finding out other organizations where they were recruiting eye surgeons to go to different countries. And I can remember my first mission. My first mission was to Liberia. And I love Liberia. And, Liberia, the people in Liberia are truly brothers and sisters of the United States, because at the end of the Civil War, the freed slaves were given a choice whether to stay in the U.S. or go to Liberia. So the Liberians adopted the U.S. Constitution. One of the few African countries that speak English. And that was such a wonderful experience that my wife and I decided to commit ourselves not only to mission work, but spreading the word of the Lord to countries that were in need. And so before COVID, we were doing maybe 2 missions a month all over the world, many African countries, Mexico, Central America, South America, Haiti, India, Papua New Guinea. And it's just been very, very wonderful, very, very wonderful having the opportunity to serve others through this mission work.
Amazing. I tell you, see, I love it when spouse they have shared vision. I find it very, very powerful and inspiring. And you said something. You said you understood that you were not just treating the eyes, but you need to understand the person. And that's more like, oh, rather than just treating the symptoms, let's go after the root cause. Let's get to the root of this problem. And that's a beautiful one. Okay, so I'm curious about some certain things, all right? But let's begin with this first one. So, what is one unforgettable story from your surgical missions? You've got any?
Well, one thing that I would like to share too. One thing is that I realized that, when we do a mission in Africa and maybe there's an elderly person blind from cataracts, usually then a young person, a child, becomes kind of like their guide. So one blind person ties up a child. That child doesn't have the opportunity to go to school because his role is to be the guide for the older person. So when you do cataract surgery, you not only give that person sight, but you free that child up for school. So in other words, you're helping 2 people. But one of the joys is, not just doing the cataract surgery, but finding out that they're a farmer or craftsmen. And now that they can see, they give a different perspective. In other words, they have suffered with blindness. And deep down inside, spiritually, they've decided to make changes with their life. Maybe they decide they're going to be a better farmer, better husband, better wife, better father, now that their sight has come back. Then the other remarkable thing is that they want to know why an American doctor has come all this way to help. And that's when we tell them about the love of the Lord. And that opens up, who is this? Who is this Jesus? Be more about it. And, I don't do a lot of the direct missionary work, but when I open their eyes, then the minister there and the spiritual team is there to give them a Bible and to help educate them. The other thing that I find really fascinating or tragic, if you will, is when a young person has crossed eyes, they're considered possessed by the demon. And maybe a young girl with crossed eyes may never marry, may never get a job. So their whole life is condemned. So after an operation to strengthen the eyes, you give them a whole new life. And I can still see the smiles of the parents because the child really doesn't know what's going on. But the parents are so happy because now they know that their child has a chance with life. So every person, every operation that I do, I like to think that not only am I helping them with their vision, but I'm also opening up their internal vision, opening up their spirituality, because I truly love all my patients. And one goal is for me not only to operate on them, let them know that I truly love them, that they're a special individual, and I want to help them any way I can.
This is so beautiful, Dr. Edward. I tell you. And you are so, so amazing. And not just amazing, but you are so wise and smart. Because, the Bible told us that we should be as gentle as dove and as wise as serpent. I love the way you go about it. You said you don't do a direct mission. You do the operation and they wonder what makes an American man come all the way to come trick. Then you introduce them to Jesus. That's amazing. I tell you. And I really wish a lot of people can deploy some tactics like this because folks are getting tired of the conventional way of doing all of those things. But the way you're doing it is really amazing. And you're not just opening their eyes now, but you're also opening their spiritual eyes. You see, that's a beautiful one, and I love that. So let us look at the tough aspect of it. So, what has adversity taught you about leadership?
Well, I think number one, you have to have a really good team. So in order to have a successful mission, you have to have a good team. Having a good team, I'm very fortunate. My wife has done many, many missions with me. She's not medically trained. But when we go into a community where nobody has experience, it's really important that they're educated and so they can be of assistance because it's just not me doing the operation. In order for me to be successful, I have to have a good team. So the team has to be educated. And also, it's not just, me doing the surgery. It's very important for me that I help train other doctors in the surgical technique. So one of my joys is that when I do a mission, I help local doctors who may not have the skill with that operation to train them, to help them be able to do the surgery. So that is very rewarding for me. And now with modern technology, we can keep in touch. A lot of African doctors will text me, send me a picture or a message, what
Uh,
recommendations you do. So in a way, it's kind of like extending a big family of mine. other doctors all over the world. But I do have to mention that, I probably get more benefit than the patient. I mean, I have so much joy when I return from the mission, knowing that I truly help people. And many times, even though the missions are very exhausting, long flights back and
Mm,
delays, my wife and I, we always have a really big smile, and we just can't wait. We can't wait to do our next mission. We can't wait to do our next
amazing,
mission.
amazing, I tell you. And you see, nothing beats that inward satisfaction, fulfillment. You know, I was talking to someone yesterday. I said, never should you work for money. Do not try. You work for fulfillment instead, because that is one of the things that money can never get you. So when you said that you get more benefit than the patient because of that joy, I can really relate to that. And that's amazing. And the part you also mentioned that it's good to have a good team. That's a smart one, because teamwork makes the dream work. I borrowed that actually. Beautiful. I got that, Dr. Edward. Okay, so we have two more questions to go. All right. Okay, so let's do this one instead. So what inspired you to, or what inspired your move from traditional to holistic eye care?
Well, I think that I was unsatisfied. At one point in my career, my value was based on how many operations I would do, in the US. And I really wasn't looking at the person. I was just looking at the number of operations, not really. And the transition is now kind of going beyond the eye or vision. So normally when I am introduced to a patient, I want to know who they are. Are they retired? What kind of work they do? Their family, what hobbies, to really get to know the person. And then that helps me to understand then their visual needs, or maybe helps me understand problems in their life that may need to be addressed first before the eye problem. I believe in that emotional, spiritual aspect of overall health. And sometimes it's more important to address that than actually do an operation. But I think when the patient then understands that I'm looking at them as an individual, then maybe the surgical outcome is more successful, because they understand, it's more than an operation to improve their vision. It's an operation or a procedure to help change their life, to help them achieve maybe some goals, help them to uh, continue maybe some of their goals in their life that they've been neglecting. Often the Lord gives us certain health issues and challenges, kind of like a wake up call, to help us reevaluate our life, what direction we're taking, and maybe we have to change a direction. And for me, when I developed my asthma, that was a wake up call for me, that I had to look in a different way of treating people. Because when I had my asthma, traditional doctors couldn't help me, that an alternative doctor did. And then when I took that alternative medicine, the homeopathic remedy, not only did it help my asthma, I had a change emotionally and maybe spiritually too. And that helped me understand that there's a connection between the physical disease, mental, emotional, and spiritual. It's
Wow,
interesting because the doctors 200 years ago, most doctors were also ministers. They just they just didn't
really?
address the physical. They looked at the spiritual aspect
Wow,
of the person. And so now I think there's a strong separation. The average doctor doesn't care about
tell
the
you.
spiritual aspect of the disease.
Wow, I never knew that. This is beautiful, and thank you for sharing that, Doctor. So finally, okay, um, what is one thing everyone should do to protect their sight for life?
The number one thing I think that everyone should do is to let me explain it this way. Most people think that the eye is a receptor, it's taking information into your body. The eye is actually a projector, it's projecting the image of your world. So if you're an angry person, everybody you meet is going to be angry. So, but if you have harmony inside, everybody you meet is going to have harmony. So when I look at you, I see a beautiful African man who has a lot of wisdom. And I'm projecting that from my inner to you. But if I had some negative experiences about Africans, or I had inner turmoil inside of me, I'm projecting that inner turmoil and fears on you. So what I'm trying to say is that changing your inner consciousness is probably the best thing you can do for your vision. So if you love everybody around you, if you're happy with your life, you're going to have good vision. But if you're angry and you don't want to face daily gifts in your life, then you're going to have vision problems.
Wow. I, I wasn't expecting that answer. Whoa. I tell you, this is quite unique. Wow. Wow. Thank you for sharing that, Dr. Edward. So finally,
So I think this,
yeah,
in
yeah,
summary, inner harmony. Be
inner
happy with your
harmony.
life. Be happy with
Mm,
your life.
mm,
Your life is a gift, and every day is a blessing.
Be happy with your life. Inner harmony. I got that. And I'm
And you'll
definitely going to
have,
spread this
and
truth.
your vision will be healthy. But if you have disharmony, anger, well, in Chinese medicine, the eye is connected to the liver, and
Mm,
the liver, the emotion of the liver is anger and frustration. So if you're angry and you're frustrated, you're going to have eye problems.
amazing. So to bring this to an end, Dr. Edward, and I'll take that as a final thought for folks who like to reach out to you, learn more about the wonderful stuff you're doing, or even ask you questions. How can that be possible?
The best, go to Kondrot.com, Kondrot.com. I have a Substack account. It's free, and I give a vision tip every day to help you with your eyes. And you can also go to my website. It's healingtheeye.com, all one word, healingtheeye.com. And if just a word, if you do subscribe to my Substack account, that's Kondrot.com, 100% of the subscription goes to my mission work. So not only are you getting valuable information to help your own eyesight, but your subscription is going to mission work. And my wife and I, we have a mission plan to Ecuador. We're also going to Brazil, the Amazon River, remote
Whoa.
areas to help people. And we're going back to Togo, Africa.
Wow.
And my prayer is that one day I'll be going to Nigeria.
Amen.
That's my prayer.
A very big
Someday,
amen to that.
Elisha, someday
Wow. I just can't wait to
I'll
see.
be.
I can't wait. Beautiful, Dr. Edward. So that's going to be the end of the show. Thank you for coming, and thank you for sharing this
Oh,
wonderful stuff with us. You see, it
blessings,
means a whole
to
lot,
you,
Doctor.
and keep up
Yeah.
the good work with your show. Blessings.